Meanwhile, Israeli bombs have hit Iranian state media studios in Tehran, causing one of their television hosts to flee the set. فضای غبارآلوده استودیو Kosha, Netanyahu pointed out, well, this isn't simply any news channel, but a tool being used by the Iranian regime to push propaganda on Iranians, but extraordinary footage there.
Really not something you see every day, for sure. And, back to our theme of how in the fog of war, it's really hard to know exactly what's going on. It is clear that Israel has waged a really exquisite military campaign so far, and just the way they've been able to use intelligence coupled with their military might to execute what they have in the last few days. So for sure, we could see that being true. It is also, I'm sure, possible that the Iranian government is promoting footage like this on purpose to try and, again, affect public opinion, not just domestically, but globally, in terms of what Israel is doing, why are they striking media outlets as opposed to nuclear facilities or the missile bomb and things like that. So that's, I think, part of what's in the mix here. But it is a reminder either way that this is a big deal. It's a very hot conflict. The stakes are high, the risks are high, and it is escalating.
Yeah. Kosha, I also wanted to get your reaction to Donald Trump's decision to ditch Albanese at the G7. But should we really be surprised about that?
It's a fair question. It's not a good day for Prime Minister Albanese, as it wouldn't be for anybody who's on the receiving end of a public rejection, if we want to call it that. But just based on the topic we've discussed, again, the world is on fire, and there are other bigger pressing issues out there than the trade relationship between the U.S. and Australia. So I think there's some, in the Prime Minister's defense, there is truth to that the President's schedule is very busy. Things happen. He also canceled a meeting with Prime Minister Modi of India, for example, another very important country, an important relationship. So I wouldn't read too much into it, but it does show that if this administration here is not able to be more proactive in developing diplomatic relationships and getting a breakthrough with the Trump administration, then it sort of spills out onto the world stage and certainly doesn't make them look particularly strong.
No, it doesn't. Well, let's look more closely at U.S. politics now. And 57-year-old Vance Bulter, the man suspected of shooting two state Democrat politicians in Minnesota, has been arrested after a 2-day manhunt, which saw authorities track him into rural woodlands. What more do we know, Kosha? Are there any more insights at this stage into his motivation for these attacks?
So the story is still unfolding and developing. Different officials have come out and said that they have reason to believe that it certainly was politically motivated. They're being a little bit tight-lipped about what more that means underneath it. Allegedly, reportedly, there was a notebook that had been recovered from his possessions that had a target hit list of other political leaders that apparently he wanted to come after or was thinking about going after. Those names haven't been released yet officially, so we don't know. There's different reports and rumors out there of who it might be, which might shed some more light. I think one of the most curious things about this case is that the state senator from Minnesota that he did assassinate and her husband, she is a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat. However, she just came out hours before her assassination and voted as the sole Democrat in favor of a Republican majority bill in the state Senate. So read into that what one may. It's tricky to exactly figure out what he's doing, but it sounds like just another example of violence. It tends to be coming from the left right now, whether you look at the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO or other cases, but we don't know all the details yet.
Yeah, and also the fact that Vance Bulter was reportedly a Tim Walz appointee to one of his boards as well. But yeah, a lot more to run on this case, no doubt. Now, Donald Trump has directed federal authorities to ramp up deportations in blue cities, saying on his platform Truth Social, the U.S. must expand efforts to detain and deport illegal aliens in America's largest cities, such as Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York, where millions upon millions of illegal aliens reside. Kosha, given we've seen the violent protests over the past week in the US, how do you think this move will go down there?
It is going to continue to be the firestorm that it is. I think it's a stark reminder to everybody how difficult this is. Again, like the big picture is America has something like 40 plus million illegals in its country. About 10 million of them came in the last 4 years under Biden willfully because that was the policy. That's the only thing we can interpret from that. And look how difficult it is to get them out once they come in. The public sentiment has completely shifted. Even lifelong Democrats, moderates, center-left independents are all in favor of mass deportations. It's a shift that I haven't seen in my lifetime in terms of how quickly that's happened. So the public support is on Trump's side, but the logistics and the mechanics of getting it done is really, really difficult because of these protests, because of judges overruling or issuing these nationwide injunctions and all the rest of it. So this fight is not going to be easy, but he is going straight to the belly of the beast, which is these blue states. These Democrat states are sanctuary cities, infamously, where they just defy federal immigration law and law enforcement. And so that's where he's going, and he's got 3.5 years left to do it.
Well, speaking of one person who's definitely not in support of these mass deportations, New York State Attorney General Letitia James, who's facing a federal probe at the moment into allegations she engaged in mortgage fraud. She is investigating now local police for misconduct. The misconduct being allegedly helping the Trump administration to crack down on illegal immigration by cooperating with ICE and other border agencies. Kosha, what did you make of this?
She is still clinging to that sanctuary city mantra that guided New York, a very famous sanctuary city and state, along with California and Illinois and others. And she's still clinging to that. She is somebody who has gone down in infamy as the Attorney General presiding over a state that has had an increase in crime and poorly managed budget and so many other things. And what did she do? She went after then candidate Trump and his business, in which there was no harm, there were no victims, the whole thing where he allegedly overvalued the value of his properties to the banks, even though he paid back the interest, got that conviction, which is now working its way up the court and I think will be dismissed. But she did that. And then the irony is really delicious that she's the one now being investigated for mortgage fraud. And then on top of that, now she's doing this. So she's not going to go down without a fight, but she is not a figure who is sympathetic, and she certainly has not covered herself in glory.
No, she certainly has not. Very quickly, we're almost out of time, but former Democrat governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is facing an ethics complaint over his alleged failure to disclose the more than $2.6 million in stock options he has in advanced nuclear technology before launching his New York mayoral campaign. Kosha, how damaging are these accusations?
It doesn't help, and it's just a pile on a series of things he's had in a fall from grace. From at one point, he was a front runner for Democrat leadership, and this is just piling on to him. So he's definitely down and out from the party.
Another person not exactly covered in glory. Kosha Gada, always great to speak to you. Thank you for your time.